Hey everybody, welcome back. We are going to make something special for Mike tonight. He is actually recovering from surgery and loves pickles, and for probably a couple years he has requested dill pickle soup. He may be the only one eating it, but I'm going to make that for him for dinner tonight. So we're going to show you how we're going to make that. We are going to use a recipe. We're going to have to deviate a little bit just because we don't have a couple of the ingredients, but I want to show you what it looks like and how we're going to go about making it, and then we'll get a review from Mike. May not be on camera, but we will get a review from him. We'll catch us upstairs and we'll get ready to start. So first we're going to make sure we have 3 large potatoes, and we're going to make sure we get all the skin off of those potatoes. You don't want to have the skin inside the soup. Of course, if you leave little bits and pieces there, here and there, that's fine, but you really don't want to leave the skin on for this soup. After you have your potatoes peeled, you then need to cut them up into bite-sized pieces. So what I did with 2 of the potatoes is I cut them in half, and then half again, and then into the bite-sized pieces. Of course, you can cut them into smaller pieces, which will help you in the cooking process. The smaller you cut the bite-sized pieces of the potatoes, the quicker the potatoes will cook in your soup. The next thing that you need to do is cut up your carrots. Now, we had a bag of baby carrots, so that's what I used for this turn in the recipe. Of course, if you're going to use regular size carrots, you probably want to use 1 or 2 good sized carrots and then cut those into small bite-sized pieces. If you don't like carrots, I guess you could substitute whatever vegetable you do like to go in this soup that won't have a very strong taste. We're going to now move over to the stove and get our broth in the pot. You want to put it on about medium-high heat because you are going to bring all this to a boil. I added chicken broth, and of course we try to use low sodium just because of some dietary things that we kind of watch. And I had to substitute and use a couple cups of the vegetable broth because we did not have enough chicken broth in the house. Now we need to add our carrots and our potatoes into the pot. You want to get those in. Just be careful if you pre-cut them in so that they don't splash like they did for me. Then you're going to add 1 stick of butter, which is part of the recipe. It's a half a cup of butter. And we use unsalted butter because we try to reduce the amount of salt intake and add that on our own. After you add the butter, you want to give that just a quick little stir, and now we're going to wait for that to come up to a boil. So let's move over and cut up the remaining ingredients. It's time now to get one of the main ingredients of this soup together, and that's the pickles. So I am going to pull out, we had spears on hand. Of course you can buy whole dills, or if you had hamburger slices you could use those, I guess. But the small chunks of pickle are what works best. Of course this is the first time we're making it, so I don't know, you tell me if you've made it other ways. We want to make sure we reserve at least 2 cups of the pickle juice. As you can see, I'm using mason jars. I buy the larger jars of pickles from our local Sam's and then put them into smaller manageable jars that we can store in the refrigerator. So I'm going to cut these pickles in half. I know they're small already, but I'm going to get them into smaller pieces. Just make sure you cut off the little stems at the ends of the pickles. You don't want to, unless you like to eat the stems, but I think it would be fine, but we don't like to leave that in any of our dishes when we are eating these pickles. So we're going to cut them in half and then cut them in bite-sized pieces and set those aside that we're going to put in the soup here in just a minute. Just going to hop over right quick and take a look. You can see everything's starting to boil and we're getting ready to kind of put it all together. So now we're going to put together the thickening agent. You'll need a small bowl. We're going to combine a 1/4 cup of water, about a 1/2 cup to 3/4 cup of sour cream. Of course, we're using the light version, but you can feel free to use full fat if you'd like. And also 3 tablespoons of flour. And you're going to mix this together until it puts a nice slurry that you're going to put in your soup, and we'll move over and do that here in just a moment. Now that our soup is boiling quite nicely, we're going to add all the other ingredients. We have our reserved pickle juice, our cut up pickle pieces. We're also going to be adding cayenne pepper, white pepper, Old Bay seasoning, and salt to the soup as well, along with the slurry that we made with the flour and sour cream and water. So moving back over to the boiling pot, making sure the potatoes are done. Whenever you can stick a fork in the potato and it comes off nicely, then you know the potatoes are finished and you can now add all the other ingredients. As you're adding the sour cream slurry mixture, make sure that you're entering in a little bit at a time and then using a whisk to whisk that in. It will start to thicken, so just be prepared for that. You'll notice as I'm pouring in the pickle juice and when I start to stir that, it will loosen up the soup a little bit and it won't be as thick. I went ahead and measured out the spices. I put the Old Bay seasoning, the white pepper, the cayenne pepper, and the salt in the soup mixture, and then you just need to mix that until it's incorporated. Set your timer for 5 minutes and then the soup will be done. So now that your soup is ready, we want to get that served out. So choose your favorite bowl and scoop out a few ladles and we'll get set to enjoy your soup. We hope you enjoyed this recipe and maybe you'll try it, especially if you love pickles. Mike gave it 2 thumbs up. I think next time when we make it, we're going to back off a little bit on the cayenne pepper, as it does have a little bit of kick to it. But if you like a kick, then it'll be perfect for you. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.